Hello, and welcome to the Happy Corners True Story Thursday series. This is actually Saturday, and as we had talked about before, I was doing a part 1, 2, and 3 series about looking back on 2017, being grateful for the things that you had happen to you, and also recognizing the things that you're proud of. And also, yesterday we covered letting go of what you don't want to take with you. Hi. Letting go of those things that you don't want to take with you so that you can move forward in 2018. So today, we're going to be talking about what is the number one goal that you would really like to accomplish for 2018. Hi, Francisco. And so as we begin, just make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pen so you can write some of these things down. And if you don't get everything right away, then you can just watch the video again later. It'll be posted because at the end we're going to do an exercise that will help you to really see how specific and how being specific can help you really get to your goals. So the first things that I wanted to talk about is just think about what is the one thing that you would really like to accomplish in 2018. Is it something to do with your job? Is it something to do with your health? Is it something to do with your relationships? A lot of people, when they set goals, either have to do with a habit that they want to change or a behavior, or with an emotion or a feeling. So like sometimes people say, I want to be happy, or I want to be more happy, or I want to stop smoking, or I want to lose weight. That's more of like a habit or a behavior. So, as you think about that and you try to think of what is the one thing that you really want to do, I'm going to talk about words and why words are really important and how that works in your mind. The way that we use words affects how we do everything. So the way that we think about things in our mind affects our actions and affects our habits that we form. So let's get clear and specific about your goals, and know that as you write down your goals, you have to be very careful in the words that you use. So what I'm trying to say is your mind will actually do what you tell it to. So a lot of the time, when I'll use an example of when you're trying, hi Francisco, how are you? Not Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. So when we're trying to focus on a goal, let's say someone's going on a diet and they say, some of us have done this before, where you're like, I am not eating any more sugar. This 2018, I'm off sugar. I'm no longer going to have any sugar. Okay. So you say that to yourself, and you continue to say it to yourself as you begin your day. You're like, no, I can't have sugar. I won't have sugar. I'm not allowed to have sugar. I'm not going to have sugar. So it's interesting because your mind focuses on what you continually are telling it to. And although you're saying that you don't, you're still saying the word sugar, and you're still telling it what you don't want. Okay? So it doesn't really focus on the negative. It just focuses on the words altogether. And you're not really being specific. So instead, what happens when you're going on this diet of no sugar, right? All you can think about is sugar. And you just want everything that you look at, you just want to have sugar, because you keep saying that word in your brain. Even though you're saying I don't, it's still saying sugar, sugar, sugar. And so the words that we say affect a lot of how we think and how we act. So what you can do instead is, because your brain also because it doesn't recognize these negative things, you need to change it. So instead of saying, I'm not going to have any more sugar, you focus on what the opposite of that is. So what is the opposite of not having any sugar? Eating healthy, right? Or eating a lot of good fruit. So then instead of saying, I'm not going to have sugar anymore, I'm off sugar, I can't eat sugar, you focus on the opposite, which is, I'm going to eat really healthy. I love eating fruits and vegetables. Fruits are so good to me. Like those kinds of things, that are completely positive, and they're focusing on the right thing that you want, which is to eat, fruits and vegetables and healthy food, and not on the sugary stuff that you don't want, right? So focusing your mind on the right things and the right words really help you to get to your goal and not to feel like a failure or give up soon because you keep thinking about these things that you're not supposed to be having. So if anybody's watching that wants me to do an example for them of something that they would like to work on, and like maybe it's something to do with a diet or something to do with exercise or with losing weight, like the things that you say to yourself, right? If you can write it down in the comments, and then I can try and change it to the opposite. So always think about what is the opposite of that. So if you're thinking about, I'm gonna start exercising again, but in your mind you're like, I really don't like to exercise. Well, you're not gonna exercise if you don't like to exercise, and if you think that you don't like to exercise. Hi, Marjorie. And so instead, what's the opposite of that? So you have to say, I really love and enjoy being active. So you change the words and you change to the positive so that you can actually go and do it. So that in your mind, you're always saying to yourself, these words I really like and enjoy doing, being active, dancing, swimming, whatever it is that you do. And so you're not focused on what you don't like. Okay, so the other thing is, I know some people will say, well, that's so easy to say, but to actually do it is something else, right? So your mind likes what's familiar. And obviously, if you have been telling your mind and saying to yourself, like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm never going to lose weight, or I can never stick to a diet, I can never eat healthy, I can never quit smoking, it's just really hard for me. That's what your mind is familiar with, all of those thoughts. So the minute that you start trying to change those thoughts, of course, those thoughts are going to come up, and this is when you have to change those thoughts into a positive affirmation. So when you're trying to say these positive things and trying to change a habit, the thoughts will come, like if you're trying to say you're trying to eat healthy and you go to a restaurant and in the menu you see like all this really good food, but it's all greasy, and that's what you want because that's what your brain is used to, that's what your mind, that's what your body is used to. But you're trying to eat healthy. So in your mind, you're saying, oh, I want to eat healthy. But then you're having this battle in your mind saying, but we always eat like this. We always have a greasy food, and you like it. You really like greasy food. You really like, you don't want to deprive yourself of this. And anyway, so you can have all these thoughts going. And so what you do is in that moment, you have to really recognize the negative thoughts that are coming in, and you have to replace them with positive thoughts. And as you continue to do it more and more, your mind starts changing and saying, oh, you actually like these things. And then that battle, the inside battle where you're like, no, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. It sounds crazy. But anyway, that becomes easier because then you start to build that habit of positive things that you like. Say like in food, right? That you like to eat, and then your mind starts becoming more familiar with that, and then it starts to change from the negative, what's familiar to it, which is the negative, to the positive habits that you're trying to build. And so as you continually do that, your mind works with a lot of repetition. As you continually feed your mind positive thoughts and positive affirmations to change the negative, it will continue to change it, and it'll be really good. Hi, Nicey. Happy New Year. So yes, as you continue to do that, the repetition is what's important. So this is where I work with people, and this is where I would come in. I work with people one-on-one, helping them to really understand their mind, to really understand the habits that they have built, and how you get from those habits, how you get out of those habits into positive habits. So if you're struggling with something, you can contact me. And if you want to be more specific and want more help with it, that's where I would work with you. I can also do recorded MP3s that are hypnosis MP3s that are specifically designed for your own needs, like your specific needs. you just contact me, and that's something that you would listen to every day. Like I said, repetition is what's going to help you change your mind about that negative thing and change it into a positive. So what you would do is you would listen to the MP3 every day, and as you listen to it every day, you begin to change those Hi, Nicey and Sandra. So anyway, so as you begin to do that, you start changing those negative thoughts and habits into positive ones, because repetition is important. Just like you build that bad habits by repeating, now you have to replace the bad habits with positive habits by repeating, right? Makes sense? So I'm just gonna tell you my own story. Like, how do I know this even works, right? Well, I had, back in 2011, when I had my first son, I had a really negative experience, and I ended up having an emergency C-section, and I was left with that experience feeling really fearful about birth. I really didn't want to have any more kids ever again in my life. Because I was so afraid and scared of what would happen, and I didn't believe that I could give birth ever again, because something bad would happen. That was my fear. And so I was carrying that with me, and a year and a few months later, I was pregnant again. And I started to really freak out, because I started thinking, like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want another C-section. Like, I did not want that at all. And at the time I was in Calgary, and I reached out to the different midwives. They had different groups of midwives and stuff, and I reached out to them, and as I did, one of them was amazing, and they accepted me, and I was already 6 months, I think, into the pregnancy. It took a while to get into a midwife, because they're so busy over there. So I was with a doctor before that. Anyway, so the midwives accepted me, and one of them, as I was talking to them, they would check on me and be like, how are you doing? How are you feeling about your birth? And I was always like, oh, so scared. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I was just really anxious and just fearful of what would happen. And I remember that one of them was a clinical hypnotherapist, and she said to me, if you want to get over your fear, I can help you, and I can talk to you, and I can set up some sessions so you can help you to get over that fear. And at the time, I was just like, I need to get over this fear, because I really want to be able to have a good experience giving birth. And so I said, yes, let's do the sessions. And so I went to do the sessions, and she worked a lot with me on my thoughts about birth, and how I, what I thought about it. And I always, from my experience, the only experience I ever had, my experience was, it's a negative thing to be afraid of, and because of all the media and all the things that you watch, it's like a scary thing that you don't know what's going to happen. So that's what were my thoughts at the time. And slowly, we started working on thinking more positively about birth, thinking more of what I really wanted. Because I was focusing more on what I didn't want, right? I didn't want a C-section. I didn't want to be scared, but that's what I was focusing on. So that's what I was feeling. And so she started to help me to change that. And I started to think more about, I can give birth naturally. And my body is meant to give birth naturally. And to me, those concepts at the beginning were like, what? I don't know if I truly feel like that, but I'm going to try it, right? And anyway, so I started thinking more like that, saying those thoughts to myself every time a negative fear would come. And as I worked with her in each session, there were about 5 sessions, I started to feel less and less nervous about my birth. And then to the point where pretty much the last session, she said, where is your fear at? Are you still at 10, or where is it at? And pretty much I was like, it's at 1. I'm like, I believe that I can do this. I believe in myself. And I think that's what it was. It was I needed to believe in myself, and believe that I could actually give birth. And naturally, right? Not through a C-section or using something else. Anyway, so I ended up after seeing her and stuff, I ended up going to the hospital, and she ended up being at my birth, and it was amazing. It was a complete, total change from the first experience I had. My son was born in like 5 hours, naturally. I didn't have any problems. 3 hours later, I went home, and I was like, wow, did that really happen? I was kind of in shock because it did happen. And it's because I took the time to work on those negative ideas and thoughts that I had put into my mind, and that were creating a lot of this fear in me. And then I was able to change that into positive thoughts and being able to believe that I could actually do it. So a lot of this has to do with believing that you can, because if from the beginning you're already saying like, I'm going to set this goal, but I don't know, I don't know if I'll be able to do it. It's a really hard thing to do, but I'll try anyway. If that's the kind of message you're sending to your mind, then you're not going to do it. But if you really believe that you're going to do it, and you really do the work for it, and you really focus on it every day, you're reminding yourself, and you do something to work on it, then you will do it, and you will accomplish it, and it'll feel good. So with that, I'm going to share the exercise part that you can do at home. So if you want to become more clear on your goal, you write it all down. So think about the goal that you really want for 2018, and you have to be more specific about it. You have to be more very specific about what you want. So what I mean by specific is you write it down. Like if your goal is, I don't know, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose weight, whatever. You have to be more specific. So you say, I want to lose 20 pounds by, June of next year, and I'm going to do this and this and this to do it. But then you go a step further. You don't just stop there. You write down a sentence like, how are you going to feel when you get to that goal? How are you going to feel inside? What's your body going to look like? What are you going to be wearing? How are you going to be carrying yourself around? All very specific things. So as you write all that down, include as much detail as you can. So you write a sentence down. And this sentence is what's going to help you to remind you of all the feelings and emotions and what you're going to be feeling when you accomplish your goal. So anyways, take some time to write that down. Maybe not now if you don't have time. Hi, Amy. And as you write it down, be specific, as specific to the details you want. Like that, the more specific, the better. What are you going to be feeling like? What are you going to look like? Where are you going to be, living? Who's going to be around you? Like all these things in specific to your goal, right? And as you write it and you finish it, then comes the visualization part. So, hi Nasari. So visualization is something that a lot of athletes use, actually. Michael Phelps uses that visualization. A lot of the Olympic athletes use it. And what it is they visualize. So they close their eyes and they completely imagine them competing at whatever their sport is for the final, whatever, for the gold or whatever. So they imagine their track, or they imagine their routine, or their swimming. Like they imagine exactly what's going to happen. They go through it over and over and over in their mind. They see it, they feel it, they breathe it, they smell it, like with all of your senses, right? They feel it, and it becomes so real that when it actually happens, it happens. When the actual moment happens in reality, it actually happens. What they have felt and seen over and over and over again, because you're conditioning your brain to know and be super familiar with it, right? With what you're trying to accomplish. And then once you're there, it does exactly what you've been training it to do. So goals work not just by, writing it down and going out and doing it, but actually visualizing it, seeing it happen in your mind, and doing it over and over and over again. So what you're going to do is, after you write it down, read it out loud to yourself, and then just close your eyes. Take a few moments to close your eyes. It can be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and just visualize what you've written down. really see it happening. And as you do, the more you do it, the more that you're going to be able to accomplish your goal. Because when you've already seen it and felt it, your body, your whole everything is so familiar with it that it helps you to make it happen. So, and you do this, as you do it, you repeat it, every day, make it like a habit where I don't know if you do it in the morning or if you do it before you go to bed, whatever suits you best. And you just do it. The more you repeat it, the more, remember what I said before, the more you repeat it, the more you do it, the more it's ingrained in your mind. And then the more that becomes an action and habit, right? So go ahead and try that and go for your goal for this year, whatever that goal may be. I really hope that you may accomplish your goals and that you may feel excited and happy to be able to be working on something that you love. And don't be afraid. Go ahead and do what you would love to do and what you would love to accomplish for 2018. So I leave you with that thought, and just remember that if you that's the other thing. If you would like to learn more and about what we've talked about, and we're going to get into more details and be more specific as to, giving you more tools and also making an MP3 that would help you to visualize your goals. I'm going to have a workshop online on Saturday, January the 20th. It's going to be a 1.5 hour workshop where you can get more information, more details, and more tools. And you will leave with a recorded MP3 hypnosis recording to visualize your goals that you can listen to every day, so that it can help you to keep you motivated, to keep you focused on your goals, so you can experience more relaxation in your life. And you can accomplish your goals. So if you want to join that workshop, it's going to be online, and it's going to be 1.5 hours on January the 20th, and it's only $20. So I'm sure anybody can do that. So if you really want to learn more and do more for yourself, you can sign up for that. Just contact me. And for the people that are watching this that are in Campbell River, I'm having a workshop that's called Girl on Fire, which is called Visualize Your 2018 Goals, which is going to be more into this and more of other things too, because it's in person. That's on January the 27th, and it's early in the morning, so we're going to get a nice start in the morning. It's going to be 3 hours, and if you want to sign up for that, you can sign up through me. Just contact me, message me, or email me. So if you are looking also to lose weight and you're trying to find a different way to help yourself lose weight, I will be doing an online class in February, so you can sign up for that then, and it'll focus on really loving yourself as a basis and foundation for losing weight and allowing yourself to let go of things that are negative, and through different exercises and hypnosis sessions, it will help you to stay focused, motivated, and to work towards your weight loss goals. So that's in February. It will be online, and the in-person one is to be announced. But let me know, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Happy New Year, and I hope to see you again next year, obviously. It's like in one day. Enjoy it and have fun and reach your goals and your potential.